Everyone will please stand for the pledge.
No, thank you.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We can observe a moment of silence for our armed service members fighting overseas. Thank you, everyone. Today is Tuesday, August 18th, 5:30 at the Town Hall. Madam Recorder, our roll call, please.
Yes. Greg Sheen,
Here.
Susan Webster is here, Elizabeth Skinner, here, Mary Lynn Hickey.
Here.
Rita Dawson,
Here.
Ryan Kessel,
Here.
and Rick Weber is absent.
In Canada.
Yes.
Just seeing how that works out there.
Yeah.
Review of minutes. We don't have Rick's keen eyes on those.
Oh, he had keen eyes before he left. It wasn't that much though. It was pretty.
So, it's,
I think they're all right if you all saw anything.
Yep, just
Yeah.
let me do one quick, oh, Pete Moss made the minutes, I see.
He did.
I see that he
had good
did.
stuff, you know.
did you spell Moss correctly?
Yes, I did.
I'm just checking.
We got a
For the
lot of
record.
relatives in the
Yes.
cemetery.
All
I
right.
did not know that. Okay, comment consent on our minutes. Thank you.
It's an old name.
First before the council, Christy Hicks, that spoke earlier, and did an excellent job, informative job in regard to the flood planning. Communication from the mayor. Bath and Bloom Awards, of course, we've been enjoying all the entries we've had for Bath and Bloom. Our nominees for this week are the West Virginia University Extension Master Gardeners for their garden at the public library, which is absolutely stunning. So we recognize the Master Gardeners. Also, the Hobday, Lois and Ralph Hobday, they had several nominations for their property at 48 Harrison Avenue. And also Dan and Patricia Wall at 38 Rockwell Court. Inviting, expansive bushes, plants, flowers with rock walls. Very nice. Well, excellent, excellent. So we'll be reaching out, Sandy and Grace and the marketing team will be reaching out to schedule some photos and delivery of their signs. So well done to those folks. Stonewall Jackson winter operations. I know that Dave O'Connell did great work on that, and there's going to be a seminar at the courthouse.
Well, I think it's just a history talk, and there'll be an author there who is going to talk about the Civil War, some of the Civil War history, which is here, which often gets kind of, run over by George Washington and all that wonderful history, but it is interesting. You can't imagine living in the town during those times with different warring armies walking through, or, more exciting than walking. But anyway, I think it'll be very interesting. And so it's going to be in the courthouse, which will be nice. It's a Saturday afternoon, August the 29th. And so I thought it'd be good to get that word out, because it'd be something for tourists to sit in on too and learn a little bit of our Civil War history, which I've always thought was really interesting.
No, they did a great flyer that's available just on the window, as well as I think it's posted online at the Morgan County Historical and Genealogical Society website. So it's a really interesting thing for folks that are Civil War buffs. Now we're kind of moving on to really the important subject matter. Today we're speaking about having too much water and also not having enough water. So the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle of both of those things. But the town is going through the process to request a temporary water service connection moratorium. This information will be presented to and sent to the PSC. And this is strictly a processing capacity issue, not a water availability for We have abundant water right now because we have enough water. It's not a shortage of raw water supply. It's strictly the processing capacity. It's really is a time that we need to pause what we are doing, as taking on new water hookups. We have, if you count the 200 unit townhouse development, that takes the water hookups to about 320, I think Rick said, which is a very significant number. But more importantly, the number of current businesses and residents that have water availability, but their water is not currently on. And that would include the Green Street School, which would be a heavy water user, Terry's, Stubby's, Dexter's, Mountaineer Building, and several others. And when you calculate the amount of water, those businesses, and we expect those businesses to come back online at some time within the next 12 to 18 months at the latest, that's probably an additional 250,000 gallons of water a month that they will use. We also have to account for about 25,000 gallons a month of water for fire that we need to have and make sure there's water availability for fire. So we do have, a current water availability list that we are keeping. That list will once the moratorium goes through, everyone that is not currently on that list will go to a wait list at that point. We definitely have some large-scale growth demands. We talked about the 200-unit residential development. We have 2 proposed additional apartment buildings. Of course, we've already spoken about Dunkin' Donuts, the urgent care, in addition to a pretty steady volume of residential hookup applications. So we could go into the specifics as it relates to, the daily output, storage, pressure loss, compromised fire protection, and all those things. But that all will come out in detail from the PSC. So we are moving forward with that.
Can I
Yes.
ask a question? How does this affect the extension that was going on south of town?
Well,
We've taken all that into consideration.
Are they like on the list or?
they are on the water availability list
Yes.
for those that, if you're counting the Dunkin' Donuts and the urgent cares and some of the residential stuff, they are currently on the list.
So that
Not all of
extension,
them though.
that extension is moving forward.
Correct, yes.
Do you know when that's gonna start construction?
Soon.
Yeah, soon, they put it out for bid in June, and they had post-bid meetings. I know they've awarded the contract. But essentially, Rebecca, there's a lot of potential users all the way down to the trailer park. We don't have enough water to service all of them. We've said yes to some people. Dan Ryan Builders got in line early for their 200 homes down by Sheets. Right now, what we're doing is if someone applies for water, it's only good for a year. You get a water availability approval, it's only good for a year, so we're not double counting, we're not under counting. And right now, we are counting quite precisely because we're that close. And we did, well, I'll get into that during the water.
Yeah.
I want to say too, that I have been through all of this, and some of you lived here while I went through it. It was difficult. It was very difficult for the community, for the water company and like this, and it was a have-to thing at that time, but it was about the distribution and pipes and all of the pipe replacement. What I believe that we're actually doing is we're putting this idea into the hands of the Public Service Commission to look at the facts and figures that we have. What do they think? Because we do not declare moratoriums.
They do.
They do. And they will look at the facts and figures and they will come back with actually an order and they will tell us what we have to do. And let's say we need to reach certain plateaus or certain, improve to certain points with the water system, with the output, with the equipment, with all of these things that are time consuming. They may do that. They may say, you're good to go. Just keep taking on customers. But this puts it into the hands of the real regulatory
Right, who should be.
experts in the state of West Virginia, what they want to do is give people water. They don't want to stop it. They want to do it, but they are realistic too, and they want healthy companies.
We have a large number of obligations out there already.
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
and if all these things were to happen concurrently, it would max the system out, so.
It would be on max. What is true, Susan's comments are valid here, but you need to understand, we've already hit all the baseline metrics to qualify for a moratorium. We know what our pumping capacity is. We know how many hours a day we're pumping. We know how much we can filter. We're maxed out. With all the math of current customers, future customers we've already said yes to. By the way, important just for anyone wanting to know, if you're in a home and you sell your home, home has a meter and the water availability transfers with the home. So just wanted to make that clear. But yeah, we're at the point and, I'm not gonna stop because I have more things to say. And when did you want to, because we do need to, the council does need to authorize,
We need a motion. We need a motion.
I'll do it. Motion to authorize, our town attorney to make the formal filing with the PFC for the water moratorium application.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor with a second for our town attorney to file a temporary water service connection moratorium with the PSC. Any discussion?
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
What's the turnaround time from the time you give that to the PSC and you expect an answer?
There you got that.
I don't think it's that long. I want to say 90 days, but please don't hold me to it. But what is true is while we're waiting for a decision from the PSC, we're already saying no to a lot of people. And once this is in the paper, I expect that you're not going to be able to see them over their desks with all the applications that come in with people who want to get in line before we shut it off.
Okay,
I
thank
do-
you.
I do have one thing to add.
Yes,
I've been down this too with Susan. I would implore council to be very careful. Because I know what the nightmare was the last time. I understand why you're doing it. I just thought I would implore the council to think about your decision. Because the PSC comes back and tells you gotta replace that plant or whatever, they're gonna make regulations on you that you will have to comply to at certain dates, certain times and whatever. We went down this before where we were mandated, we had to have X amount of feet of pipe in the ground, done, blah, 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 to bring our moratorium. I know it's not a water issue, not having the water. I just want council to know that your decision you make, they may come down and say, that plant's gotta be replaced. Do you have a thing?
Yes, we have a great answer for that, Scott, and the answer is this. We already know that we had a professional engineering report done to do exactly that.
Mhm.
The total cost is $8 million. We've got 3. We've got enough to get started. And by the way, the money from Riley Moore that hasn't been awarded yet, it's in the current appropriations bill, is $5 million. We've got 3. That adds up to 8.
Good. I've been through it before.
Yeah.
And I know it was a nightmare. Anytime you deal with PSC,
Right.
it becomes a nightmare no matter what scenario you're in.
And they should expect us to raise our game, which is what we're trying to do
Right.
independent of this application, is to get our water plant in tip-top shape. The one thing that our counterparts at the county level need to understand is putting our water plant in tip-top shape does not increase its capacity significantly. It just doesn't.
Right, it just brings it up where you can filter
Where
the
we
water.
can have reliable,
Absolutely.
sustainable water supply
Because you're as far as
for
you can
our
go down
current
there.
customers.
Right.
And protect them. And with all grant money, it's not going to also result in higher fees.
What the PSC will, Scott is absolutely right, they will set dates and times and, certain benchmarks we have to hit. They may also say, which we did, you must set aside $13,000, $15,000 a month aside because this is going to continue. What Scott and I and other people at council, Beth, what we went through was replacing the pipes. Our focus and our lives were centered around replacing these
Absolutely.
pipes. We took it down from 63% water loss to under 20, and at that point, we were taking off the moratorium.
Right.
We improved to that, and we were lauded and applauded by the Public Service Commission
Right.
and the IJDC for having met the marks. And it was a lot of sleepless nights. I know you've
Oh,
done
believe
that
me.
plan many times.
Believe me.
In
Yeah.
fact, our first funder is IJDC. We've already got three specific funding buckets. The first one is the IJDC 375,000 loan with a matching grant of 375. That's the first one. The second one is $1 million with the town match. And then the third one is Riley Moore's request for $5 million, and we'll see how much of it we get. But it gives us more than a running head start to improve our plant and get it functioning
To where it
The way it
needs to
should
be.
Yeah.
the way it should be, and
Right.
to not feel so vulnerable every time we lose power or something else happens. We need our current customers to be able to rely on the service that this utility provides for them
Absolutely.
and to be able to count on it consistently.
And this is a huge project. Talking about the money, that's one whole aspect. Is anybody who's dealt with big projects and money, that's one thing. Actually doing the project and getting ready to do it, and it'll be a long
That's why I
time.
don't have any hair.
Oh, it
I
is.
know.
We can't even start
Just
our
right
work
around
until
this.
next year, like this time, like in the spring.
Yeah.
We can't even start just with all the preliminary things that come with all these
Water project takes
Money
forever to
and-
get off the ground.
and stuff.
Oh, they do.
Yep.
And you have to hit so many.
Absolutely, so
Nelson,
many more.
you have something?
Yeah, because this is gonna be some expansion of land use, I'm just wondering if you will get the conservation district, if you'll give us some information so we can keep track of what this is. So I'm one of your conservation district supervisors,
Yeah.
and this is under our
Yeah.
purview to look into the
We
land
will
use.
have lots of information on our website about
Well,
the
I'm gonna
moratorium.
wanna see it so I can give it to the Eastern Panhandle. Any of the expansion of land use that's involved water, it does go through the conservation district. You may not have had one operating here, but the law is 19-21A
We're not
dash
expanding.
7.
We're not expanding anything.
We're
We're
not
just.
But you're talking about water going out to the southern part,
That's already approved,
Happening.
been through everything that
but
is.
just any of the plans so we can see them. So we're not,
Oh, it's a
so
county.
some of this stuff should have been asked before I was put in this role,
Okay.
and
The
it's
county
just
has
an
all that.
obligation.
It's a county project that we're part of, so.
But the town has the water,
Yeah, our
Yeah,
water
we're-
utility.
so far.
so it's a mixed bag.
Right, but the county will have all the documentation, the studies, and we'll request that from the county. No, these are all valid points. The issue for phase one is system reliability.
Mhm.
We've identified that and getting to that point as quickly as possible, and then allowing for phase two, which is the capacity enhancement. And this is not gonna happen overnight. You know, there's several years in the making to get all this done, but we are moving as quickly as we can in a very prudent way, to at least launch this and to work with our colleagues at the county level and everyone else we need to make this happen as quickly as possible. All right, do I have anyone
Call
else?
the question.
Yeah. Okay, I call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. All right. On track. Sandy, did Bree leave anything for on track?
I have some.
Oh, yeah, I just want to make some plans for direction.
You got anything?
Go ahead.
We have some good news. We contacted Jennifer Brennan, who's the head of Main Street, West Virginia. We've got the Bath Civic Trust, which is a local nonprofit that we set up a few years ago to really support town projects where, just one example, Sealy doesn't award directly to municipalities, but they gave us money, which we use for the Bath Christmas market. So the question we asked Jennifer Brennan was, can we basically repurpose the Bath Civic Trust as our Main Street nonprofit? And the answer was yes, which is great because there were a lot of startup costs in getting the Bath Civic Trust online. West Virginia Secretary of State and lawyers for, bylaws and articles of incorporation and all the things because we did it right. So that's going to save us time, money, and procedural effort when the Main Street transition does occur. They're telling us now that they expect that they could accept our application come July 1, 2027, the start of the new fiscal year. That's so great. And we'll be ready for them and know we can take this particular action item off the menu because it will have been dealt with. We'll also get to change the name. I asked her if there were parameters around name changing. We have some latitude. A lot of them have Main Street in there somewhere, but that's a conversation for another day. But I'm just really glad that we will get to transition the Civic Trust.
Does that
and
mean
make it
that the 20,000 that you gave to the On Track will now go to the Bath Civic Trust?
No, in fact, it'll be the opposite. Whatever funds I have at the end of the current fiscal year, ending June 30, will be dumped to On Track. In the meantime, anything that's coming already been funded directly to On Track will stay with On Track.
Yes. I never even heard of such a thing, but if it works out and it's to the town's benefit, I understand
Love that.
what she's trying to do. You're saying On Track, Main Street is a foundation, is a nonprofit.
It has to be. We're required to set up a
It is.
501c3 when we are approved for Main Street proper,
Yes.
which is what we can accomplish with the Bath Civic Trust. And frankly, as we all know, I mean, I pointed out to Jennifer, their mission statements are virtually identical in terms of the support that we're trying to throw at our little town. So I'm just glad that that's going to work out. That's the update for On Track.
Yeah, I understand.
We're always looking for some board members and other
We're gonna need
volunteers
some.
on track.
Yeah.
Yeah, because from what I see on the website, there's 3 of you, and we need more.
We got 4 at the moment.
Do you have 4?
We got 4.
Okay.
And I'll stay on as treasurer, but yes, we'll be looking for a new board. But we got a whole year. We've got till July 1. We got to get them all square.
Yeah, that's the last piece is last piece is building up the organization. All the other metrics have been hit. And
On Track.
Yeah.
we need to look at our director to focus her time and attention on building that down. But she's just preoccupied with all the water issues, as you can imagine. Next meeting for On Track, for those of you who can make it, is the September 10 at 4 p.m. Hope to see everybody there for that meeting as we're moving into fourth quarter already. Parks and Rec, I don't have anyone here from Parks and Rec. The next meeting is August 20, 7 o'clock at the courthouse. Planning Commission,
We had our routine monthly meeting last week, and we also had an opportunity to sit down with public safety to energize their submission for the comprehensive plan. And one correction, we will not have a meeting in September. Our next meeting will be on 14 October.
14, 14, thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
All right. Pete, Rail Trail.
So you got my update, I think.
Yes, sir.
It'll be posted after the meeting. On the phase 6 design, we did a preliminary walkthrough with a couple of council folks. And got some preliminary updates back to Thrasher. This thing is now ready to go to DOH for the official in town.
Streetscape.
Streetscape.
is how it started, yes.
Streetscape projects. Basically, once we get that date, we'll let you know. And it's a walk around town with the drawings and the cost estimates with the DOH people from Charleston and at least somebody from D5 of the district. We've been through these before. They're quite useful, but as I said here, we're about 50K above what the grant budget would be for the whole package of phase 6. We knew we'd have to give some things up. We did not make decisions then. We wanted to do it with DOH. There are some things we can do, but I'm waiting I'll let you guys know what might be at risk. But we're close. All right. The second thing, another piece of that, we're in this fog of grant awards phase. We know from correspondence from DOH that the town will be awarded a couple of grants that we've applied for. But that means nothing until the governor announces it. But it's a strong enough message from DOH that they were essentially telling us, you got it, don't reapply for those grants. So we went ahead and applied for something else. So there's a certain amount of trust here. But when the town gets the grant awards, we're a little shy of the match money. There's some time to make up for that. And knowing that, I've approached county commission and we sent them a formal request for out of season, as we would call it, for some help to do the match. And they've been pretty good. We haven't asked for anything for a while. There is time, knowing full well how long it takes from a grant award until you actually get construction. There's time to collect. So what are the money? We're betting on the town, but we've always been able to do it. And as Bill Clark was pretty clear when he said, we'll help you. So I think we're good on it. And he knows how much short we are. Next thing, next, now into the future, the Independent Street Revitalization Project. With that, the part that can be funded with the Transportation Alternative Grants is now called Phase 8. And we applied for the design funds for Phase 8 when they opened the door for grant applications, and we jumped through a few hoops. They got some help for the design and put in a full-up grant application like 1 day before the award, before the application timeframe closed. And they didn't come back and say, well, that was stupid or anything, so I figured they figured it. So that's good news. Now, whether having prevailed in a couple of construction awards and such, and we're ready to come back with another design phase, I don't know what they're going to do. But they like us because we apply, we get the money, we actually do it, and the money is spent. And then, you know anything about federal money, the first part is getting it. But once you've got it, they are hot on your tail to obligate it, or to spend it. We do that. And I mean, I won't say it's a well-oiled thing because it takes time, but it works. So that, and we'll have the next streetscape meeting Thursday.
That's great. Perfect.
Hope we get an update on a few more of these things. Any streetscape questions? I'm doing it backwards.
Great work. Yeah.
I just want to know if from the conservation district point, can we get that rail trail plan
What rail trail plan?
for the Phase 6?
That's a county project still.
Okay,
The
well.
rail trail that you were talking
wait a
about,
minute. Tell me what you want.
just to see if the rail is going to go across a
Wait.
floodplain.
Phase 6 is 2 streets in town.
Okay.
It's in town.
Okay, but the first part you were talking
You want
about the rail
drawings?
trail.
You want to see drawings of that?
Well, the conservation district would want to see anything that's going to impact the soil or water. That's just how it works. I didn't make the rules.
Well, I mean,
You're
We'll
new
have
to
to-
be visiting us.
we'll have to figure that out.
We haven't had a visit from you guys before to ask for this stuff.
Now I'll back up to rail trail.
Okay.
Yes.
I have no idea why I do, because it's on top of my sheet.
I know. Work with Bob, yes.
I know.
All right, rail trail, okay,
You
so
are
first,
sequential, so.
Trying to keep
yeah,
up here.
just backwards. It looks like we do our rail trail meetings on the 4th Wednesday, so that'd be the 26th.
24th, it says here.
Yeah, I know, the 24th is the Wednesday.
All right, 26th.
26th, I mean, I don't know how to deal with it if it isn't there.
And I can't-
You're totally.
We take your word for it.
No,
Meetings on Wednesday.
Look, this is based on what the county commission said.
Mhm.
The commission said.
Right.
All right, so last month or so, we jumped on getting through the DOH wickets to get approval to let a contractor do the design for the depot trail. Got through all of those things. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I've talked to Bill about, okay, it's time to talk to the contractor and get ready. You can't start, but you gotta get ready. that says get a contract. You gotta grab a contract, they gotta grab a contract. I help them reduce the cost of this thing, so I will keep pushing on that. We do a conference call every month or so with Tim Sadowski's people at programs and DOH. I don't know what the next one is. The last one was on the 6th. They said we did all the ticket punching on this one and we should be able to go have a contract. So that's worth something. Then, this is you talked about the length of time it's taken since you knew what the rail trail was until now. And I think you can measure that in your ability to birth, raise a child, and possibly get them into kindergarten.
Get them to college first.
College.
Maybe
I think
College.
it's actually college.
It's
Yeah.
college, I was gonna say the wedding.
20.
Because, I mean,
Yeah,
as long
get
as
'em
it's
married
done
off
for
and have
20
two
years.
kids.
It's 22 years,
So,
24 years.
Okay, so what
So-
for your wait
so
for
the
your
bad news,
grandchildren?
the bad news was the NPDES permit, which allows you to work in the wetland and do stormwater and all that stuff in the woods on the rail trail, lapsed.
Oh.
And since the time it lapsed till now,
You're gonna have to
they
read
added more requirements.
Oh, yeah.
They
Change
as
the
DEP, so we've
standards.
met with Felicia over at the county's working on this. The NPDES permit does include the depot, which involves the trailhead project, and it involves our remediation of parcel 1, which was in the old thing. What is being done is, seems like DEP has accepted all the old work, which is, well, if you look at it, it's this thick and it's got all kinds of soil stuff and everything. And that doesn't change. So right now we're working on just a groundwater program and a stormwater action plan, which are the new things. And Bill and I and Felicia talked last week, and the idea was the contractor that they probably have access to needs to write that stormwater thing. We can't, because nobody in this room could write it, including me. It's not, I don't have the tickets. And that can get solved really quickly. That's done in support of being able to buy and install the bridges. Right? The same guy who helped us with the Ewing Visor Street thing is in charge of the bridges. I mentioned the bridges, they got a good design, it can be installed, but it needs these permits. The state won't put out an RFP without the permits being in place. So that's happening now as quick as possible, because Kyle wants to put that thing out for bids to meet, you ready for this? The window when you're allowed to go out in the woods with a permit and attack the trees, cut down, do whatever you need to do. There's a certain time of year. Rebecca, do you remember what that is?
You can do it in the winter time
It's in the winter.
to stay away from nesting
I
season.
don't even care about any of that. I don't care about the stinking bridges. I don't care. I want the depot lot done.
Well, okay.
I can retire. I can leave this table.
That's Susan, the trail project has been once again segmented
I know.
into items that can be done
I know.
separate from the others, okay? Depot project is completely separate from the bridges project. It uses different money, and so, and that's the one of, if we can get a thing on the contract and do a design. Well, I mean, I think it's good.
Just feelings.
I know, it hurts.
I want to go home.
Anyhow, it's just too hard to do it all.
Yeah.
So I think it's, I don't use, it's segmented into two different chunks right now. I'm done.
Thank you.
You did good.
Well, not quite done, I'm here for another thing.
You want to share the Ewing Street Bridge?
You wanna do that now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since we approved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
That's
It's
good
fresh in
news.
my mind. All right, so in the counter to the decades-long rail trail, the run up to actually replacing the Ewing Street Bridge started in June of this year. Rick and I, and this is it's like a joint venture. Rick, it's me, and it's Kyle Baranowski at District 5. The state has agreed, Kyle, to essentially take over the maintenance of the bridge, maintenance meaning replacement of the bridge. And yes, it involves funding from the town because the state doesn't have a way to fund this. Once they replace the bridge, they're giving it back to the town for maintenance and repair and everything else like that. The price is, what Kyle did is he wrote up, this is the kind of stuff you gotta love. He wrote up a parts list of what it's gonna take to replace the bridge. It's the bridge deck and the girders, guardrails, everything. It's not the abutments. The abutments are fine. That's the good news. So he's got a list of parts here. They add up to a total of like $53,000, $53,800. They want that's something that they expect the town to fund that. 45 of that would be a direct payment to DOH, and the other 8,400 is the share of parts that DOH wants the town to buy, to procure. And the idea being it keeps, in the way it's being done, it keeps from hitting a procurement limit that the district has. What we talked, Rick and I talked to him, and you gotta put a lot of this on Rick, he's good at this. We talked to Kyle, he says, the town doesn't have anybody that could go out and order 3/4 inch 8-bar value, no, it's the yellow stuff. So can the D5 order it and ship it and have it drop shipped? These are ordered from many vendors, and put it in the warehouse up on the street there. And the town just pays the invoices as the parts come in. And Rick agreed to that, the D5 agreed to that, so there's no workload added to the staff. The 45,000, then it involves a check for 45,000 to DOH, the district, that covers everything, demolition, manpower planning. The town doesn't have to do, and actually D5 doesn't want the town to do anything. They'll do the inspection, they'll rip it up apart, put it all back together, and give you a bridge. And the total price of that bridge would be about $53,400. In two parts. A check for 45, and then the 8,400 as the parts come in. It's his estimate. Probably can't negotiate that, can't figure out a way. There's no precedent in this type of program for the state to somehow take in more money. However, if the price turns out, or the cost turns out to go above the 53,400, whatever it is, the state road fund picks up the extra. The town will not owe any more money. And the guy who put this together, who knows who's gonna do this and what it takes, says it'll all be done by the end of November.
Right.
So we started in June, we've done the end of November.
5 months, start to finish. So the maintenance piece, so bridge is installed, bridge maintenance and everything is turned back over to the town as a town responsibility.
Yes. Yeah, and I don't know how much it took to maintain
And
that
then leading
bridge.
up to that, we're basically handing over a couple of checks.
Yeah, and I don't know, hardly.
It's great.
Anything. And very positive engagement with D5 for somebody who knows what the heck he's doing. And the same guy who designed the bridges for the railroad. And the process is, we're looking for, if you agree with that plan, and you can kind of agree with the bottom line numbers on money, then we would send back just an email. I'll prep it for you.
Yeah, we're gonna do that, yes.
And send back an email to Kyle, say, this is good, the town's good for it, proceed. Well, his proceed, he's gotta get permission from Charleston, which he's already working on. Once that eventually comes back and signed by the state's highway engineer, then the town would sign and provide the money. So we provide the money, unlike streetscape grants where we have to put the money up front before the state is approved. This money isn't due until it's made the loop and the state has approved.
We were lucky in finance, we got to hear this and have it explained to us in in good detail. And I believe that the Finance Committee did recommend to council that we do pass the amount of money needed and put together by Pete for the this project for the Ewing Street Bridge. So I make a motion that we fund the Ewing Street Bridge repair to the tune of $53,491.
Second. Okay, I have a motion on the floor with a second to fund the Ewing Street Bridge repair in the amount of $53,491. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Pete, great work on that.
Thank you.
Just-
I'll have it, it's Rick and I.
No.
It's one heck of a team.
I feel like you're about to break through.
5 months to
Huh?
install a
You're about
bridge.
to break through, like,
You know, you can put up with how long it takes to do street safe,
yeah.
Yeah,
when you can come up and do something like this.
it's a great win for the community. I think those folks will be relieved to have that bridge access again.
Yeah, I know that, that's why.
And we will-
Okay.
We will get that out, and let people know.
Thank you, sir.
All right, I am done.
Thanks, Pete.
That's okay.
Okay.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
All right,
So-
thanks, Pete.
And so does Rick.
Yeah, Rick.
See
So
you
it's
later,
doing
buddy.
great.
Hey, David, there's seating in the front row.
I'll take that up.
Susan,
Yes.
get yourself on the train depot.
Train Depot, if you recall at the last meeting, we talked about the cleanup of the depot lot. I'm kind of hopeful with hearing Pete's report and everything on the depot lot and any advancement that they make, that our next step, and an important one, it's not a very sexy step or anything like that, but it's moving the materials and bricks and equipment from the depot lot to our Myers Street lot, to where the Myers Street tank is, water tank. And I met last week with Rich Signor, who was our crew leader, and Dennis Schaefer, who does a lot of work for us and has every piece of equipment known to man, at the lot, and just showed them what we needed done and, when we needed it done and like this. So at this point, those two men are working out a proposal, because when you're down there, it's more stuff than you think when you ride by. It's a lot. And those bricks are also on wooden pallets that, of course, return to Mother Earth at some point. So Rich Signor, the crew leader, is thinking of improvements also to the Myers Street property. And this is a bigger project than just moving the equipment and materials will do that. But you would like some concrete pads and like this, because we want to work out a plan to move all that material, the dumpster, the salt and everything. Rich wants the salt up there. He said this is where we start our day. We should have everything we need right here and leave from there to work. That will leave those, that lot clear for any construction or design. It would be the lot and the gardens, and that would be it.
Mulch.
The mulch, you want that to stay for a while, or?
We need to spread some mulch where
Okay,
we had spread it before in front of the gardens, and we can use it for the reclamation of 1A, so.
okay, yes,
I do have one caution.
okay,
You do not want to move that salt up there because in the winter, trying to get up that hill after it's snowed,
yeah.
the state doesn't plow it like they used to. And be careful because I come off that hill sideways 2 or 3 times with trucks
Okay.
because it's ice, even spreading salt.
Yeah.
That's why we ended up down in the lot. I know you're trying to find another place for it, but,
But
yeah.
you know what I've always wanted for that salt, if the Myers Street thing, if it really doesn't work out, we give it more thought. I always wanted near Larry Landon's house. If somehow we
Like in his backyard?
extend- No,
I don't
but
know his
extend
backyard.
Wilk Street, because
Those
that
big
was
teepee looking
all
things.
That's all, that's the Hancock Road,
Yeah.
Wilk Street, and the end of it, it will give you a nice flat road. Remember me talking about this?
Yeah, we've talked about it before. You just gotta remember, there's a driveway that goes up around.
There is,
So-
not closing it off, but
Right.
just going, because as far as I know, it's still a public, because the state never gives up. I don't know if they've given it to.
I think they go right to the fence, if I'm not mistaken. Larry might know better.
Private road. County doesn't maintain it.
Well, the county doesn't maintain anything, but the state, well, the state, you mean?
Right.
The state goes past the, or, yeah, we don't know. Wait, I've always thought that would be so perfect. You know, it's on straight road.
Unless you live there and they have the salt trucks from the building. But do remember, Silica's got that for sale right now.
Right, that lot's for
So
sale.
those are all for sale. So I expect that you'd have to pay a better penny than you used to on that one.
Yeah, we'll wait for the price to go
All right,
up.
let's explore that.
They're not getting water, the price is-
Yeah, you just gotta be careful because like I said, I brought several trucks sideways.
There's I mean, that's something like you're not thinking of when you're thinking logistically. Thank you. That was an
Yeah.
important thing.
I mean, You know, when you come down there sideways, it's kind of scary. So, and I don't want anybody to get hurt.
We'll just keep thinking on that.
I mean, if you come in maybe on the other side, because what I had thought about years ago, where the old dump was coming up there since you all purchased that land, making a gradual road coming out of there would be better than what you got coming down around that turn and down.
Yeah.
If you did something like that, because that's what I had thought about years ago, trying to cut a road in there to get and move the salt up there.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, thank you.
I'm not trying to throw screws to anything. I just, you know.
I understand. I thought of that too, but Rich kind of blew right past that. So
Yeah, well, he's never brought a truck off sideways, so.
He's still new to the task. I don't think he's got a winter under his belt. Well, he does have one winter under his belt. Well, thank you, Susan.
Sure.
Landmark Commission, they're not here today, but their next meeting is the 17th at 4 p.m. Sandy, you're filling in for our report. Madam Clerk, do you have anything for us?
I do not.
You have nothing. All right, Susan?
I don't think we have any building improvements or
Property use is unusual. Okay.
Just money.
Yes.
We can skip right to finance. Madam
Okay.
Report.
Remember the bills, as usual, finance. And I make a motion that we pay the town of Bath expenses in the amount of $32,069.73.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor with a second to pay the town of Bath expenses in the amount of $32,069.73. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
I make a motion that we pay the cemetery expenses in the amount of $3,715. This is for grass cutting and sandy pots.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor with a second to pay the cemetery expenses in the amount of $3,715. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
I make a motion that we pay Berkeley Springs Waterworks expenses in the amount of $57,153.38.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor with a second to pay the Berkeley Springs Waterworks bills in the amount of $57,153.37. Is that correct? Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Make a motion that we pay the on-track expenses in the amount of $2,800.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor with a second to pay the on-track expenses in the amount of $2,800. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Beth, tree board.
We have a meeting tomorrow. We have kind of been working together to deal with a tree in Greenway Cemetery. Fortunately, we were able to recruit volunteers to cut up the tree, and the Public Works, as they have time, is going to dispose of it. If they have a pile where they always put that stuff. And we appreciate the tree board's interest, and they were relieved that they had to take care of it. So, but we have a meeting tomorrow, And I believe we have invited the grant writer, Jessica, to be present. I don't know if she's able to, but
Jessica's
like-
right here.
Yes, there. And we're gonna talk about.
So we'll-
Jessica,
yeah,
our new,
hope you can be there for us.
this is, by the way, this is Jessica Puskas, our new grant writer.
Yeah, I
Started
had
with
met you.
started with the town a couple weeks ago. We're just glad to have her. She's just a great find for the town.
That's all I have for tree board.
Well, thank you. Things are going really well with that. Reba, grants?
I have updates.
All right.
I'd like to welcome Jessica. Thanks for coming. It's nice to see you. We're all really excited to have you on board. Right now, the town has 5 grants in the pipeline, 3 applications submitted and awaiting decisions, 1 active awarded grant and 1 previously funded grant that has closed. BAT 365 submitted to the West Virginia Department of Tourism, police vehicles submitted through the USDA Community Facilities, and the Rural Health Transformation application, which Councilwoman Hickey submitted for the Work Clinic Initiative. In committee, we decided that we should, if we receive that grant, the proposal will be amended and changed, as Susan had said earlier.
If they let us.
Right, if they let us, to a project that the entire council agrees on. We also have the Demonstration City Grant, which is currently active, and the Community Tree Grant has been completed and closed. And tracking currently shows a grant goal of about $222,000 with approximately $43,800 reported as reported. Is that about right to you? And so we need to keep building the pipeline. Our priorities are downtown revitalization, public safety, police vehicles, community health, events, activities, and looking for opportunities to acquire buildings and property that can provide a lasting benefit to the community. There is value in looking at opportunities where the town can help safeguard important properties from being lost to large conglomerates or outside interests, particularly when those properties can serve a genuine community purpose. This means that when an important property becomes available, we should at least know what funding opportunities exist and have the ability to consider whether preserving it for community use makes sense. And at the same time, we need to be responsible about what we're taking on. We need to finish the projects already underway before we take on a whole bunch of substantial new ones. And we did in our committee meeting the other day, decided that the grants committee would have a standard, consistent process of going forward with grants that doesn't change every time council or grants committee changes. And the basic process is departments and committees bring ideas forward. Those ideas come to the grants committee, where we look at whether they fit the town's needs and larger strategic objectives. If they do, Jessica can go find the money. And once she finds a grant that looks like a good fit, it comes back through the grants committee, and then in council, we, if appropriate, we move forward with it. So the grant writer isn't deciding what the town should be doing. We're giving her the directions and the priorities, and she's helping us find the money to accomplish them. We also talked about oversight and transparency with creating unnecessary roadblocks without creating unnecessary roadblocks. We want people to be able to move quickly when an opportunity comes up. We also need enough oversight that we all know what we're pursuing and why. And because council members and grant committee members change, we want those protocols to stay with the town rather than reinventing the wheel every 2 years. And as of May 2026, we have established a shared drive that's being updated regularly. It's available to council members and grant writers, and it helps maintain transparency and should help prevent overlap. The rural health application was actually a good example of why we need this process. It showed us that we need to have a conversation before we piss off the entire town and its biggest source of tax revenue. Right? Sort of. And
I
one
might
final
word it
thing.
differently, but go ahead, keep
Not
going.
not with that language. I would
No.
say.
So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not appropriate for council person.
Okay. And one final thing, I think I need to be especially careful, we need to be especially careful with FEMA and Army Corps funding. There's a difference between simply receiving federal money and entering into a continuing federal agreement. The Army Corps uses legally binding project and partnership agreements, and those agreements can impose obligations involving property, access, operation, maintenance, and future use of a project. FEMA awards also carry continuing federal conditions, and federal law allows agencies to suspend, terminate, or withhold funding when award conditions aren't met. Both FEMA awards and Army Corps agreements can contain continuing obligations, and under certain circumstances, those agreements can be amended or additional conditions can be imposed. We're talking about something as fundamental as our water system, so I think council needs to know exactly what rights we're retaining and what obligations we're accepting before we sign anything. Not to say that we don't already know.
We already signed
Right.
and we don't have any of those
Right.
restrictions.
And so then there's a separate layer of federal emergency authority. There are federal statutes, including Title 10 authorities amended through the National Defense Authorization Acts, that give the federal government additional powers during a declared national emergency. And I'm not saying accepting a FEMA or Army Corps grant gives them the right to take over the town. I'm saying we need to be sure that nothing we voluntarily sign gives away authority, property rights, or our precious water resources. And that we understand exactly what survives the grant if circumstances change, including during an emergency. So before we accept larger federal grants, I think council needs to see the actual agreement, the incorporated federal terms, and any continuing obligations. We need to know what belongs to Bath, what rights the federal government retains, what happens if the project changes, and what happens if there's an emergency. And that brings me back to water. In our grants committee discussion last week, water infrastructure was specifically identified as an established strategic priority. We all recognize that's something the town needs to pursue. But considering what's at stake, our water resources, I think the fine print in those grants needs to be scrutinized, just like all the rest, to make sure we don't inadvertently give up. And I'm not saying you don't scrutinize it.
There's nothing in there for us to be concerned about. I appreciate you lifting it up, but I can promise you, there's nothing in this particular
Nothing.
grant. David's right here. He's
Okay.
our grant administrator from Region 9.
Okay,
There's nothing in there that we need to be concerned about.
okay. And let's see, that's about it. And with all that said, our next meeting is September 14th, 2026 at 4:30 PM.
I just have one quick PS to that. Thank you so much, Reba. I did reach out because Reba had lifted up an idea about a roller rink to be located at the Lotus Building. And we've not heard from them in a very long time. So I reached out to the president of Lotus and his accounting and administrative director. I let them know that we have concern about that property sitting idle for 4 years and counting, that there's been no movement forward on their part, that there have been offers made to buy that property that have just seemed to go in a black hole. And I let them know, I basically reached out to the president and his assistant and said, look, is the building still for sale? They have since severed their relationship with Black Diamond Realty, who was their realtor. And I just said, look, we've sent people your way, and then they had a pretty frustrating experience because no one ever contacted them. And then we watched the dollars that they were going to invest in our community and took them elsewhere.
Where is this? Lotus Building?
Lotus, the Lotus Building, the old
The old
school.
Green Street.
Oh, grade school
Oh,
building.
Green Street.
Oh,
So
okay.
I did hear back from them today, and what they said is this, and I do want to share it with everyone because the town has also, I know that we have a county EDA, but we have been directly reaching out, Greg mostly, to potential new businesses. They contact the town. We are taking an active role in properties that we are within the town of Bath boundaries. And so they thank me for reaching out. Please pass along our appreciation to the town of Bath for its continued advocacy on behalf of the old school building. We know how much this property means to the community, and we share the goal of seeing it restored to productive use. We want to apologize for the lack of responsiveness on the prior offers. To clarify, we are still interested in exploring the right opportunity for this property. Black Diamond is no longer representing us. And going forward, please feel free to have interested parties reach out directly to me. This is a really big, important step for us to kind of break the logjam. We now have a contact person. When Greg, he alone has come up with 3 offers for that building. One was all cash, and they just fell into a black hole. So we now know who we can contact directly. It's not going through the county EDA. This is the town of Bath contacting the owner of a property located in the town of Bath and saying, here, can we make this work? How about this one? So we are currently evaluating a couple paths for the property. Want to make sure any offer we pursue is the right fit and the timing. We can't commit to a specific process just yet. We're glad to hear from serious buyers and we'll be sure to follow up. They have not responded to my follow-up email where I said, so what's the price?
And could you please cut the grass? They need to.
Start setting
Excellent thought.
What's the price? And I asked them specifically about the special licensure that they have paid money for, and I know they're trying to recover that cost.
Yeah.
They listed the property for $599. We had full asking offers coming in at $599, and still nothing. So we're just really wanting to communicate, this is a productive asset in our town. We don't want it sitting empty and idle and not producing revenue or anything else. So I will continue to regularly check in with Lotus, and certainly if we have offers, Greg will be the one who passes them along, and hopefully we can get something cooking. Yep.
Otherwise, go ahead, got it.
Yes.
Did I hear correctly that there's discussion of if a grant is received, changing the project that was in the proposal?
Here's what's true. First of all, there's no guarantee I'm even gonna be, are we talking about the rural health?
I don't know. I just heard, I thought I heard that if the grant is
Yes.
awarded to the town of Bath, that the project would be changed?
If they would allow us, I had a couple residents approach me over the weekend while I was out and about saying, hey, if you can't use that grant and everyone's not feeling spa over at the Hermison property, I have an idea. And I said, okay, it's not unheard of that when you get a grant that you could repurpose it for something that fell within the grant guidelines and with the funder's permission. So if we get the grant, we will pursue those conversations, but at this point, it's academic.
Very good. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
All right. Josh, Officer Stengel, you have anything for us for public safety?
Not this time, sir. The only thing I could say and think of is a reminder, end of the month, inspections, seeing a lot of dead inspections around town. Keep in mind that if they're abandoned vehicles, dead registration plates, anything like that, sitting along the streets, we'll be writing them up.
Okay.
Tow notices, city ordinances complies with that, so just kind of keep that in mind for whoever's listening. Just, we got Apple Butter Festival coming up around the corner, so clean up the side of the streets would be a good idea.
We did meet with the ladies of the Fox Club Garden Club this morning. We're just having that issue with the garden at the top of where the monuments are placed.
Right.
There's sight line issues. We had, a couple fender benders up there, so the Fox Club ladies were out there cutting that down earlier this morning, and we'll send Public Works by there just to clean all that up and get it picked up and cleaned up. So.
Hey, did I hear your first part right, that you're going around town looking at cars that are not inspected and?
If they're dead registration plates, I will be writing them up.
Yeah, okay.
Because that is considered a danger vehicle.
What about out of state? There are people who've never changed their plates.
That is also a issue that I'll be looking at.
Okay, yeah, because there's a lot of that.
I know there's a lot of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Okay, well, I'm glad to see you doing that, because it's good stuff.
No, it's good work. No,
Yes.
Police departments are great. Thank you, Chuck. Next public safety meeting is the 19th, which is tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
3 p.m.
Remember?
I will be absent from that meeting, Susan. You will be leading that.
Oh.
You'll be leading. All right. Beth, cemetery, Beth?
We are continuing to work on our headstone restoration project. It's moving forward very quickly. We have lots of more work to do, but it's amazing how much we've gotten done so far this summer. And we've got a lot of volunteers doing different small tasks in the cemetery which help its improvement. And anyone that's interested in volunteering or helping, please feel free to get in contact with me. We've got a lot of interested people in the cemetery, and we're working to make some real improvements. So
That's great work, Beth. The cemetery looks great, by the way. It does, and I'm glad to see that the public works and the cemetery folks working together to keep it
they
clean and
do a
neat,
great
tidy.
job.
Yeah.
They give us a couple hours a week and we take advantage of it.
Well done. Next cemetery meeting is the 20th at 1:30.
Correct.
Public
Thursday.
Work Thursday. Rick is, I believe, in Canada right now.
He is.
Enjoying some time with his children. We spoke already about the Ewing Street Bridge, which is just fabulous work by Rick and Pete on that. Also, the guys are working really hard. It's allocating, they pick up trash 4 days a week. In addition, they're cutting the grass. They're now edging all the grass throughout town, which we've never done up until this year. And also working on individual streets, one block at a time, just to make sure the curbs, gutters are all neat, clean, and looking as good as they can at this point. We're also trying to pinpoint, we did create some budget for some additional sidewalk repairs. So it looks like we have a couple spots where we're in need of some aprons and some sidewalks just for safety issues. So
Remember the Green Street thing, the Green Street in Fairfax?
Yes.
We specifically put some money in the budget for that. You know, that sidewalk next to Nancy Sostridge's.
Yeah, oh my
really
God.
yes,
like
we have
a
that.
crumbled up
Yep.
piece.
Yes.
That's
That's
budgeted for.
one.
Yeah, we do have that, and we have a couple aprons
Yeah.
just off 522. I understand that better, who has responsibility
Yeah.
for that, but some of those aprons are never gonna get, and the trucks are driving over it. It's
Yeah.
hard on the trucks, our vehicles to get into some of those behind the apartment buildings and things, so
Right.
we've gotta make sure we look after our vehicles. Next Public Works meeting is the 17th at 2:30. Ryan, ordinance?
Yes, ordinance agreed to move forward with amending solid waste ordinance from 2 years ago. So an amendment of an amendment to create additional residential tiers for trash usage. We've been having an increase in some residents putting out more than the limit of 6 trash bags per pickup per week. So one response to this issue will be to create newer tiers where there will be a tier for 8 bags per pickup and also 10 bags per pickup. So right now the quarterly fee is $48 for the standard 6 bags per pickup. So the eight bags will be $64 a quarter, and the 10 bags will be $80 a quarter, which then is actually equal to the lowest commercial rate. So it's not an increase in taxes or fees or anything like that. It's to cover the expenses for what's been happening as an option for residents who have more trash. So within the next town council, I'll probably have a draft ordinance for that. Alien will also include more description on that we will not be picking up bulk items and dangerous materials, including due to that it harms the trucks.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Hey, Ryan, on that topic, there was a proposal last year also to look at potential customers that live on the fringe who don't live in the town, but could potentially get service based on the routes that the guys do, including me. So I was wondering if that was included in this look.
That's not included in this look. From what I understand, there already are some.
We do have a number. We're not accepting any
don't
other folks out, but we have a small number left that were grandfathered in.
Okay.
Because we have that increase of about 20% additional waste now, we would not be looking to explain. It doesn't bring a lot of value to add additional customers in from a financial standpoint. It would actually make more sense to just limit it to the town, and if folks want to annex in, then that's a whole.
Yeah.
We'd be glad to have you, Larry.
Fair enough.
Right, that's
Just
one
think
of
of that
the,
trash you're gonna get
that's
picked
one
up.
of the things we could always dangle in front of potential annexation was our great trash service, our great and inexpensive trash service. So to go ahead and give it, you
Okay.
know, you're giving away yet another thing
Can't
to
charge street
people.
fee or
No,
police fee.
we don't charge
So
anything
that
else.
would really be a bargain.
Yeah, when you compare the rates to other jurisdictions and private companies, it's very reasonable, even sometimes a third of as much as those rates go, so.
Sure.
Look got a good story with them. Our trash guys are great. They're on time and they're neat and they're clean. They're not damaging anything when they pull in front of your house. They just do a great job. All right. Are we still for this next meeting at the 17th?
Yes.
Okay. Next meeting is the September 17th at 3:30. All right, moving on to water. Mary, catch us up.
I've got a few things. I've got 2 contracts here for Thrasher that we need to formally approve as a council. These, one is for contract 1, 522 South Sewer and Water Line Extension. The certified bid amount is $4,123,015. Susan, should I do these separately? Because there's 2.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I need, I'd like to make a motion to approve, look, this is pro forma. We're already in this, we're a signatory, we are a party to this contract. But they now have the award, Pro Contracting got the award for the 522 South work for the sewer and water line extension. So I make a motion that the council formally approve the Pro Contracting bid in the amount of $4,123,015.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor with a second to approve the Pro Contracting award in the amount of $4,123,015. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and then the second Thrasher contract is for the 522 South water tank. That bid was awarded to Mid-Atlantic Storage Systems for $526,724. I make a motion that we approve this contract for the work.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor with a second to approve contract number 2, Thrasher Project 01010204 to Mid-Atlantic Storage Systems in the amount of $526,724. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mary.
David, did you need anything else?
No, just in case you had questions about that.
Okay. Oh, but we're still not done with water. I've got a resolution.
So you had 2 contracts. This is straight. You
2
had
contracts, and you have them both in your board packet. These are the emails. Okay, there's 2 separate contracts, one to Pro Contracting, one, you want these? Yeah. I'll share. Okay, next up, as part of the water plan renovations and upgrade, the campus needs to be bigger. And we have conceptually, not specifically, not negotiating, conceptually approached the property owner with the need for his land right behind the water utility. And that conversation has started. So far, I'd characterize it as productive. The property owner is meeting with myself, our water superintendent, and our engineers again on August 26th. We've essentially explained the challenge that there's something called force protection for water utilities. They really shouldn't be right on the street where someone could just walk in and do whatever. But we've had issues with the house that hasn't been lived in for over 10 years behind it, and with transients who've broken in and done a lot of damage, frankly, in there. Kerosene fires, and that's right behind our water utility. This is not safe, it is not secure. And so this resolution, prepared by our town attorney, authorizes the acquisition by negotiation and if necessary by eminent domain of real property and easement interest for the Berkeley Springs Water Works Water Treatment Facility Upgrade Project. So, let me just, the town, I'm just gonna summarize the higher level points in here. The town does intend to make good faith efforts to acquire the required interest by voluntary agreement before commencing with any condemnation proceedings. And whereas the town council has reviewed the project plans and proposed acquisition areas, subject to final engineering, survey, title, environmental, funding agency and legal review. We have the legal authority to do this. This resolution essentially formalizes our intention to follow through with that. And so I will introduce a motion to approve resolution number BSWW-2026-08-18.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor with a second to approve resolution number BSWW 2026-08-18, a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Bath authorizing the acquisition by negotiation and if necessary eminent domain. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, Madam Gordon.
And then the last thing I just need to cover, not extensively because Greg did such a fine job during the mayor's comments, is to basically just remind everyone that our primary constituency as the stewards of the water utility is the customers that we currently serve. And one of the impetuses for getting all the grant money means we're not raising your rates. And right now, if we get all the money, we don't know about that last one yet, whether it's 1 million or 5 million, it could be up to 5 million. But all of that means that we're not raising your rates. Between that and making sure that our current customers are being serviced and can count on reliable, sustainable source of water for which they are currently subscribed is our priority. And I also want to make sure everyone understands as we enter into this process of applying for a moratorium that we have been tracking this for a year, over a year. I've been the water person for, like a year. And our back of the envelope math put us in front of the Morgan County Commissioners in October. And at that meeting, we let them know, this is where we are. This is where we see ourselves we actually said by the end of the summer 2026. We are heading towards a moratorium. And I also want to remind everyone that at that meeting, we reminded them, and certainly when we signed this contract 6 years ago, there was a commitment from the county that they would explore and get up and running a secondary water source. The hopeful thought was that our teeny tiny little engine that could water utility was going to service all the ambitious growth plans. Those that are not us outside this town are planning for it. I am not taking issue with the exploration of that, but you have to have your basic services lined up, your electric and your water. They're right. As we go down 522, some folks we've already said yes to, but we know there's plenty more. There will be plenty of development infill. That's what Duncan is and all the other things. We're not going to be able to say yes. And I fully expect when this article hits the Morgan Messenger tomorrow, that we're going to have a whole bunch of applications for water service. And we have to be very thoughtful in our evaluation of them. And this is why we are formally seeking from the PSC their evaluation and determination of our capacity as we now know it. And again, as I mentioned earlier, just on baseline metrics alone, we already know we qualify for it. Our pumping number of hours we pump every day, it's like 20. That's not great. We know that how much we can filter every day. It's not the same number you can pump, it's about half. So we're doing everything we can to manage this water utility with integrity, with transparency, and with keeping the public completely informed about what's happening and when. This application will be submitted by our town attorney by close of business this Friday to the PSC, at which point there will be a PSC case number if anyone wants to look it up and follow through and see what's happening with that. This is a needed and necessary step and one that we do not take lightly, and I just want to make sure that that is understood by everyone.
Very good. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, everyone. All right, we're at that point of the meeting where if anyone would like to comment. Folks, no? Okay. I think we can adjourn by comment consent.
Yes, we can.
Very good. All right, let's start signing some papers here.